Welcome to Module 2, Understanding the Gold and Silver Content of each U.S. coin. In this module, we're going to cover 5 major topics. The first one is we're going to determine if the coin of interest includes silver or gold content. Not all coins have silver or gold, so we'll look at which ones do. The number 2, if it does have silver or gold content, we'll determine the quantity of bullion content in each coin. Number 3, we'll understand the term melt value, what that means to coin collectors. Number 4, how to calculate the bullion value of the coin. Once we know the content, the quantity of bullion in each coin, I'll show you how to calculate the value of the bullion in that coin. And number 5 is a question. Is the bullion value of the coin the maximum value of the coin or the minimum value of the coin? We'll cover that in this module. Before we get to that new material, let's complete a couple of topics from Module 1. The first one is a complete list of mint marks. In Module number 1, we talked about the Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, Carson City, and New Orleans mints. That's P, D, S, C, C, and O. The ones we didn't mention are the smaller mints, more specialty mints that haven't really been mainstream, but I want you to know what they are. Charlotte from 1838 to 1861 was a mint and had the letter C to designate its mint, and it was gold only. And then from 1838 to 1861, gold only in Georgia, a city called Dahlonega had a mint, and that's designated with a D. And then we have West Point, designated with a W. Those aren't coins in circulation. Those are collector coins put out by the U.S. Mint from 1983 to the present. So that's the complete list of mints for U.S. coins. Next, we're going to explain where the mint marks are on each type of U.S. coin. Let's first talk about the terminology. We'll use common directions, north, east, south, and west, to describe where it's located on the coin after we locate a feature. For example, the mint mark on a Morgan dollar is on the reverse, south of the tail feathers and wreath. So if we look at the reverse, which is on the right side, look for the tail feathers, look for the wreath, and then south of the tail feathers and wreath, we have the mint mark for this one, which is Carson City, CC. On the right side, you can see it's magnified a little more to discern it. So that's the terminology we're going to use to locate mint marks on all these U.S. coins. And we'll do that by putting the information together in a table. And we'll start with the half cents, large cent, and cents. And then the second column is a description of what that type of coin is for that time period it was produced. And then the far right column is location of mint mark. As you'll notice, especially on these half cents and large cents, there were no mint marks then. And then we get down to the cents. The Indian head cent is on the reverse, south of the wreath, and it only has a mint mark for the 1908 and 1909, and those are both S of the San Francisco mint. Then the example we'll look at is the Lincoln head cent, 1909 through present, and the description here of where the mint mark is located is south of date. So if we look at this Lincoln penny, we see the date, and then the mint mark is south of that. Here's magnification, see a little better, and there's the S for the San Francisco mint. So that's how we'll go through each of the coins, a table like this to show it. I'll run through this pretty quickly. But the idea here is this is a reference for you. So any coin you get, you can come back to these tables, find it, and I'll show you where the mint mark is so you'll know exactly what you have. This table covers 2-cent pieces, 3-cent pieces, nickels, and half dimes. And just like the last slide, it shows you what years they were produced and where to find the mint mark. The example we have for this one is a 1942 Jefferson nickel. Now the 1942 Jefferson nickel is actually called a war nickel, and the mint mark on this coin is different than the rest of the Jefferson nickels. This one is actually located above the dome of the Monticello. It's actually a P, and you can see it there in the magnified view. This next table covers dimes, 20-cent pieces, and quarters. The example is the 1944 Mercury dime. So if we go to the Mercury dime on the table, the description is it's on the reverse. That's the photo we have there, and it's east of the word 1 on the back. So you look at the back of the coin, look for the word 1, and then go east. So if we look at a magnified view of this, we'll see this is the E in the word 1, and right here is the S, again designating the San Francisco Mint. So some of these are kind of hard to find, so I thought it'd be good to have a description of where each one is for each type of coin. This table shows all the half dollars, and the example we have is a 1929 Walking Liberty half dollar. If you look at the table, the Walking Liberty from 1917 to 1947, the mint mark was west of the words half dollar on the back. So there's the back of the coin. If we magnify that, you can see the word half dollar down here, and we go west, and we find the mint mark. This table is for dollars. Same idea. The example we use is a Morgan dollar. So the Morgan dollar description says reverse, north of the DO in the word dollar. So there's the reverse with the section we're looking at, magnified. We can see DO in the word dollar, and just above that, north of that, is the mint mark S for San Francisco. Now this is for gold coins. Same idea. The example we have is a half eagle. And the half eagle description says 1840 to 1907. It's on the reverse, south of the eagle. The example we have is 1902, so it falls in that category. And if we magnify it, we can see the mint mark right there south of the eagle. Okay, so that's a good reference. You can find the mint mark for any U.S. coin by referring back to those tables, depending on what coin you have. Next section, we want to talk about understanding the bullion value and collector value. What's the difference? Collector value is based on the market demand for a coin because of its year, mint mark, grade, and rarity. Bullion value is based on the amount of silver or gold in the coin. Sometimes this is referred to as melt value. In other words, if this coin were melted down and just sold for the bullion value, what would it be worth? So, knowing collector value and bullion value leads to three possibilities. The first one is some coins have no bullion content. Therefore, all the value of the coin is based solely on collector value. Number two, other coins have bullion content, and most, if not all, its value is based on the bullion content. And the third possibility, other coins have bullion content and collector value. This means the minimum value of the coin is its bullion value. Then the extra value is from its demand dictated by collectors. So that describes those two terms and what it leads to as far as the value of the coin. So next we're going to look at some more tables, just like we did for mint marks, but these tables are going to tell us each type of U.S. coin, the bullion content contained. I want to start with this slide from the U.S. Mint, just to remind us that none of the current coins being produced by the mint have any bullion value. 0% silver, 0% gold. You can see over here the penny is copper, the nickel is copper and nickel, but no silver or gold content in the dimes, quarters, half dollars like they used to be. So I just wanted to point that out. And this is from the U.S. Mint. The reference for the website's down below if you'd like to go look at more coin specifications. The Mint has a nice website. So here's the first table, silver content by coin. It begins with a 3-cent piece, Jefferson nickel, and half dime. Now it seems odd that the Jefferson nickel is on here, but there was a time from 1942 to 1945 during the war that the war nickels actually contained some silver. They're 35% silver. So the way the table works is the coin is in the first column, a description in the second column, the years in the third. Then the fourth column is a percent silver in the coin, sometimes referred to as purity. And then the last column is when you take the total weight of the coin multiplied by the percent silver, we'll actually end up with a weight of silver in the coin in troy ounces. So for example, the very first one there, 3-cent piece produced between 1851 and 1853 is 75% silver. So when you multiply the total weight of the coin times the amount of silver, you would actually arrive at the conclusion that 0.0193 troy ounces of silver are in that 3-cent piece. So that's the way all these tables work. Again, I want to walk through these, and then you'll use this as reference when you have a coin that you want to determine the bullion value. This table is for dimes, 1796 through 1964. Just looking at one example, if you go down to the last entry, the Roosevelt dime, 1946 to 1964, 90% silver, and the weight in troy ounces of silver in each dime is 0.0723 silver ounces. Next table is 20-cent pieces and quarters. All of them except the early and bust quarters were 90% silver. The early and bust 1796 to 1838 were 89.24% silver. Next table covers all the half dollars. Same format, same approach. Next table covers dollars. And I put a special note in here about Eisenhower dollars. These aren't, the ones that have silver are not in common circulation. The Mint, the U.S. Mint, made those just for collectors. So if you have one of those in these years with the S Mint mark or the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar, there's notes there to describe what you have, if it's 90% silver or 40% silver. So refer back to this if you have one of those Eisenhowers. Now we're moving to gold bullion content. Everything we looked at so far was silver bullion content. Now this is gold. The gold dollar at the top, produced between 1849 and 1889, 90% gold. And when you look at the weight of the coin, multiply by 90% composition gold, you end up with 0.04837 troy ounces of gold in each of those coins. And then we have some modern U.S. gold coins produced by the Mint. They're referred to as the American Eagle series. There's a $5 coin, $10 coin, $25 coin, and $50 coin. And the way they created these, it makes it real easy as far as the weight in troy ounces of gold. For example, the $50 American Eagle has exactly 1 ounce of gold. And the $5 American Eagle has exactly 1/10 of an ounce of gold. Just as a quick summary, we'll look at 2 examples how to find the coin's bullion content. What's the bullion content in ounces of this 1927 peace dollar? So the idea is to find the slide with the dollars on it, find a peace dollar on there, and then look to see what the bullion content is. So from a snip of the table, we can see here the peace dollar had 0.7734 troy ounces of silver. The second example, what's the bullion content in ounces of this 1928 St. Gaudens $20 gold piece? Again, looking at the table for gold, we see the double eagle, 1849 to 1933. The bullion content was 0.96750 troy ounces of pure gold. Now that we know the bullion content of each coin, let's now translate that into what the value of the bullion is in each coin. The price of silver and gold fluctuates daily. So now that we know the content of bullion for each coin, we have to look to determine what the current value is of bullion. So on this slide is a link that takes you to the current price for silver. Okay. So when you go to that link, what you'll see is silver's live price, and you can change the denomination or the currency you're looking at. This is for US dollar by ounce, and the current bid price when I checked it was $15.23, and the ask price was $15.33. So you could use either one of these, or you can split the difference and use that number as the current price for silver. Then you would take that price, the current daily price, and multiply it by the amount of silver in the coin to determine the bullion value of that coin. Just for round numbers, for an example, I said if silver is trading at $16 per ounce, we multiply the number of ounces in the coin by the current price, so it'd be 0.7734 times $16 per ounce equals $12.37. I just used 16 because it's a round number. The actual number for this day is up here, 1523 to 1533. Okay, let's look at an example now for gold. On the last slide, we learned the 1928 St. Gaudens $20 gold piece has 0.96750 ounces of gold. So we would use this link, which takes us to the gold prices. And there's the gold price for the day that I checked, $12.7960, $12.80.60. This is the bid and ask price. So you could use it, they're close. You could use either one or a number in between. So if you run through that calculation, I rounded it again to $1,200 per ounce for gold. 0.96750 times 1,200 equals $1,161. That's the gold bullion content of that St. Gaudens coin. So here's a slide on coin talk, some of the jargon that dealers and collectors use, just so we're familiar with it, on weights. Coins are weighed in grams and troy ounces. There are 31.1034768 grams in 1 troy ounce. The amount of bullion in a coin is referred to as purity or fineness. It's usually expressed as a percentage of total coin weight. That's what we showed in all the tables that we just reviewed. So we'll look at an example for a Morgan silver dollar. The total coin weight is 26.73 grams. The composition is 90% silver, 10% copper. Therefore, the silver weight is 0.7734 troy ounces. And we know that because we take the total weight times the purity, 24.057 grams of silver comes from 26.73 grams, the total weight of the coin, times the 0.90 purity. And then we divide the 24.057 by the number of grams in 1 troy ounce, and that will give us the number of troy ounces of silver, 0.7734. You don't have to do this calculation. I just want to show you how we arrive at that. These numbers, the total troy ounces of bullion, are what we reviewed in each one of the tables. In summary, this is what we learned in this module. We determined if the coin of interest includes silver or gold, and we do that by looking at the tables to see if the coin's listed. We only listed coins that had silver or gold content. Determine the bullion content of each coin. There's tables to show what that is for the coin of interest. And then we discussed melt value. Melt value is the value of the coin if it were melted and sold only as bullion. And then we went through a calculation of how to calculate the value of the bullion in the coin. It's the amount of bullion in the coin multiplied by the current price of that bullion. That's why we had the links to take you to the daily price. And then lastly, we answered the question, is the bullion value of the coin the full value of the coin or the minimum value of the coin? It's actually the minimum value, Collector demand for the coin may drive the value much higher. Okay, a quick preview of the next module. Next module is entitled Grading, how to determine the condition of the coin. And this is important because the better the condition of the coin, the more valuable the coin is. So in module 3, we're going to understand the grading scale used for coins. We're going to answer the question, does everyone agree on the grade of a coin? Number 3, what's the role of professional grading services? These are services that you pay for, and they will slab your coin, which means put it in a nice container and document what the grade of the coin is. Number 4, are there reference photos in the various grades for me to look at to help me compare my coin's grade to other coins? And number 5, when does it make sense to pay a professional grading service to have my coin graded?